Okay, so I'm gonna try to make this quick. It's pretty early in the morning, like 8:36 a.m. Getting used to getting up, so I'm sort of conditioned towards that. But there were some comments in the last video, well, one in particular, um, uh, in relation to just the topic of politics. I know I'm sort of being sort of milk toast fence sitter, if you will, kind of uh, sort of jumping around the bush, so to speak, when it comes to topic of politics. Um, it's not really something I want like my this channel to go in the direction of. If you're looking for politics or talking about politics, like there's other channels out there. A lot of it has to do with the fact that if you're working sort of a 9 to 5 sort of job, and you're not really like almost like fabulously wealthy or so, like you gotta sort of watch what kind of opinions you express, and it's not really a matter of being like scared or not having, what was the expression, not having the balls. It's a matter of consequences, and with the way the world is nowadays, I mean, this is one of the reasons why I decided to leave a lot of social media, was just that you could be having like a rational disagreement with someone. They could be saying something like that's bonkers, and just having that is enough to like set people off, especially when they're in a really like emotionally like invested state. When it comes to whatever event it may be, and this is sort of like a sort of meta commenting on sort of looking at it from sort of a more abstracted perspective, not really in a particular issue, but essentially if you do not necessarily agree with the general narrative they're pushing, whatever it may be, whatever topic it might be. It's sort of like, maybe it's like because of ego investments, maybe it's because of um, the way the story is presented, to most folks. Um, Again, it doesn't have to be anything in particular, but you can essentially get into a lot of trouble. Um, Folks can come after you and try to like get you fired from your job, get you kicked out of school, get you blacklisted from the industry, etc. And this is kind of like why I just, generally speaking, like I'm very apolitical. Um, I believe there's ways that you can affect things as an individual, but by and large, like, you don't really have much effect on it. And, you know, it's almost like this mob mentality that's out there. And, I suppose if you're, and this is something that, I didn't understand back when I was younger, in my 20s or even in my teens, like, because you don't have all that sort of responsibility or the weight on your shoulders, um, if you're the only income earner in your family and everybody's depending on you, like, you gotta do what you gotta do to, you know, provide for yourself, provide for your family, that sort of deal. And, that affects your perspective, your decisions, how you're going to express yourself, if you're going to express yourself, etc. When there's no consequences or no real consequences because you're either independently wealthy or you got somebody else providing for you, or so, like, you know, you find it easier to, like, I guess, express yourself, because it's like, well, what are they going to do to me? Especially like you're self-employed and you have multiple sources of income. Um, you know, you don't really have, you really don't have that sort of weight there affecting your decisions. Um, that's kind of why I'm steering clear of that. And besides, like, a lot of the way I view the universe or world or life or so is like, you got your corner of the universe, you got your little like plot of land. You have far more control and effect over that. And besides, sort of one of the ways I've mentally had to sort of learn to um, get through life. If you look past over the last, like, let's say 10 years, all the stuff I've had to overcome or deal with, or like, be strong for it, sort of like looking at what is right in front of you and trying to affect that. Because, like, for me, for instance, it's like, okay, work at my job, make that money, get a high enough grade in my class that I'm taking, uh, alter my diet so I can, get into better shape, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All these little things that you can sort of do or that I have it right in front of me to do to affect. And beyond that, it's sort of like, it's sort of like above my pay grade, if you will. That and, some of that, like, if, I think it was, yeah, Dave Ramsey was saying it was that, like, as individuals, we have far more control and effect over the course of our lives than we might, think. Um, whoever gets elected to a given office, whether it's local or statewide or it's national, um, yeah, there are things they can do that could affect your life, make it, easier or harder to get from point A to point B, etc. But by and large, like, folks have far more control over their lives than they, that they might believe or, think. And, to get into sort of Dune and Frank Herbert, like, there's that sort of danger of trying to go out there and look for a hero, look for a savior of some sort. And I'm not even getting into religion or spirituality here because I know, um, in certain faiths, obviously, they believe in a savior who has come or will return, etc. And, right all these wrongs. But, um, there's that sort of danger in one's own life of looking for some charismatic, heroic figure to come along and fix everything for you, and believing that, if this person or that person, uh, seats to any given political office, local, statewide, national, international, that, either, we're saved or we're all screwed, and really, I don't look at the world that way. I don't want to look at the world that way. And, you know, I see, I've seen folks who do look at the world that way and sort of how, sort of all is like a roller coaster for them emotionally or mentally that, oh my God, did you hear this guy or this gal got elected or they got, removed or whatever. Oh, we're all screwed. We're all in danger. And it's like, then you fast forward 4, 5, 6, whatever years in the future, and like nothing's really happened, nothing's really changed. Um, maybe incrementally it's gone one way or another, but it's like um, the world is far more complex and hard to affect machine, system. Um, it requires like trends over long periods of time, as far as I'm concerned. With there are some exceptions here or there in history, but generally speaking, I don't think it's a very productive mindset to get into, and it's one of the reasons why I steer clear of politics because it's just like how it's the nature of it, at least at present. Very much about celebrity and emotions and attacking others, tearing them down. And not even just like, okay, we're gonna have this debate, I'm gonna tear you down in this debate. It's like, okay, it doesn't end at once the debate, it's done. It goes beyond that. And if you do talk about politics in depth on any social media platform, you can end up really attracting the, I refer to them as the crazies, but um, it's just folks who are really, maybe they're not even crazy per se, but they're like emotionally invested in it to the extent that like anybody who brings something up, in particular, they'll go after you and attack you, and I just don't have the time for that. This channel is really not about that. I'm not sure what direction it's going to go in the future. I mean, assuming I get into an even much better financial situation where I have the extra cash once I paid off my debts, maybe along the way I'll start transforming into something more where I can actually just, stop talking about myself as much and start talking about topics. Maybe if I get good with something like Camtasia or some other, video screen capture editing, software that I could start creating more like, like informative educational content, that sort of thing. Um, Branching off from like, where I'm at right now, because this has mostly just been me, saying, hey, this is my life, this is what's happened, this is what I'm struggling with, whether it's, belief sets or emotional states, or it's, problems with, with, I don't know, folks I was going to school with or working with, or, stuff of that nature. And it's been helpful, definitely for myself, and, apparently for some other folks who, have been following me. Um, maybe getting a bit inspired. I don't know, that, they could kind of overcome things in their own lives because they saw someone else do that as well. But yeah, I just, that's why I wanted to respond to that comment. I did remove it because I felt like it'd be better to respond to it in video, and the way most social media platforms are, they do have folks who do like watch the comments and watch the videos and approve or disapprove things. I mean, I had this other channel where I had like it was like a copyright claim because I was like walking around in this city over in Morocco, and they had some like song by some music artist playing, and their algorithm recognized the lyrics and the tone or the tune, and it was like, oh, copyright claim on this, like you can't monetize this video, which I haven't been able to monetize anything because they had that whole change in their what are their standards for you to be able to monetize videos, but in terms of like number of views and subscribers and all that. But there's stuff like that out there, and if comments get way too heated, they get personal, you start calling people out, that sort of thing, or you get into making like videos like that. um, they'll come after your video, they'll come after your channel, and I've invested a lot of time in this, and other folks invested time in watching my videos, commenting, following me, heck, providing me with advice or just support. I just, I wouldn't want that to just disappear because of something that, like a heated discussion or so. And um, I want to view like the folks who, especially who, comment like continuously as like friends of mine. Um, but yeah, so, I try not to take things personally, but, again, like I have to sort of look at this and go, okay, how is a platform like YouTube going to respond if you start getting into that sort of stuff? Because, I mean, heck, even like, any video where you put like the term, or, certain terms, I'm just going to, again, I'm going to be sort of, jumping around the bush, not really like, grabbing onto it or, pointing it out or, etc. But you put certain terms in your video title, video description, and you automatically get some sort of like little additional note added to it. Oh, well, actually, this is false, or actually this is disputed, or actually this is the truth or the result, or so. It's like you do have folks watching for that sort of stuff, and again, if you want to get into politics, there's other channels for that. You want to get into what else? I don't know, advice for men. There's other channels out there. Some of them are pretty popular. I suppose if people were to put up names or so, or ask me, like, I don't know, there's a direct message like feature in YouTube anymore, but I could probably like give my thumbs up or thumbs down on them as the ones that I know or follow. But generally speaking, like, you look at sort of your channel, you're creating content, and you're like, okay, so what do I want this to be about? And I don't want to get into politics. I heck even want to stay away from religion, for the most part, for obvious reasons. But yeah, that's kind of like my response to that. It's not a matter of like, oh, that I am not like brave enough or whatever to respond. It's about like being rational as you get older. I guess you start to sort of calm down a bit about things. Um, and I have come from like a politically charged background in reality. Like I think it's one of the reasons why I sort of moved out and moved away, because I sort of wanted to get away from all of that. I mean, I could probably put up a video about that at some point. Something I haven't really talked about. When it comes to religion and politics, very much charged, environment, and it it almost seems like contribute to a lot of wasted time and wasted effort, and just not accomplishing much for a certain stretch of time in my life. And once I got away from that, I was able to sort of look at things rationally, calmly, and from a different angle. Then I started really making progress in life, and that's one of the reasons why I also don't want to really get back to that. Um, I'm far more about like self development, um, and spirituality, and a whole slew of other topics, such that I'm not going to be discussing that sort of stuff. I have skirted the edge of it, but I'm not going to be going into that in detail. And I think I've dragged this video on long enough. I think I made my point before continuing to repeat myself for like the umpteenth time. I'm just going to end this video and then I'm going to upload it. So thanks for watching, folks, and I'll see you around. Bye-bye.